Hi, I'm Erik Paulsen. Every day as I get ready for committee hearings or votes on the floor or even meet with constituents that take the time to come and visit with me in Minnesota or in Washington, I also enjoy reading your input from email, regular mail, phone call messages, and people ask me all the time, do I actually get a chance to read these messages? Because I get so many, sometimes up to 400 a day. And the answer is yes. Sometimes I respond directly. I'll even respond with a phone call, telephone, town hall meetings, etc. But I also thought what we'd try doing now is sort of a new series where once in a while we'll answer these questions directly to you by video. And this hopefully will encourage even more input, which will be helpful to me. So we actually took a couple of email questions we got back from folks in the district this week. First one actually came from Richard in Maple Grove. And he asks, many American companies send work to other countries and are currently able to deduct that expense from their taxes. Would you support reforming the tax rules to prevent them from taking that deduction? And I think Richard points out a very good important issue here is the fundamental need for tax reform, which has not happened since 1986. And there's a lot of talk in Washington about budgets and spending, but the reality is that we have to have a tax code that is more simple, fair, and also competitive. And that means getting rid of a lot of these deductions that have been put in place and only benefit a few at the detriment of the larger group as a whole. And we really want to incent our businesses to grow companies here in the United States and in states like Minnesota. We need to make sure we have lower rates and a broader base that allow them to compete. That's really critical. Actually, there have been 4,500 changes in the tax code in the last decade alone. Last year, there were 579 changes. That means big companies that have attorneys and lawyers, they can navigate the tax code, but families and small businesses, they can't do that. So I support the concept of getting rid of a lot of these deductions, absolutely, and that's what we need in tax reform. Another question, thanks Richard for that question. Another question we got this week actually came from Mitchell in Edina, and he says, I write regarding my great concern for our economy. Whatever it is we're doing now, it isn't working as my 401k and investments are doing very poorly. Moreover, I haven't seen Congress do anything to improve our economy, the market, or to increase jobs, despite the warning signs that we are entering a double-dip recession. I strongly encourage you and Congress to implement a plan to revitalize the economy, preferably through tax cuts and infrastructure spending. I'll be very disappointed if Congress doesn't act now. Well, first of all, Mitchell, Congress has acted this week on a portion of the President's jobs plan on enacting three new trade agreements with Colombia, Panama, and South Korea. This is good for Minnesota companies, small, medium, and large, manufacturing, agriculture across the board. It'll be actually the most significant trade expansion we've had in 15 years. And 95% of the world's consumers live outside of the United States. But we also need to get rid of litigation, regulation, and have less taxation so we have more innovation at home. Now actually in the House we've actually passed many legislative initiatives that focus on the rules and regulations portion. Many of these bills are sitting before the Senate and need to be acted upon. Some have been very strongly bipartisan actually, and so I'm very hopeful we're going to make progress on that. And also on the infrastructure side, I'm actually a co-author of legislation that invests in infrastructure spending, and it does that by also investing in our own domestic energy exploration and using that money to invest in our infrastructure, because we do need to do that. And American energy and American infrastructure is American jobs. So I am committed to working in that direction on a continued basis. I want to encourage all of you, if you're having a chance to watch these answers to these questions, to provide your own input or thoughts or questions either through Twitter, Facebook, send me an email, drop me a postcard, or just give a phone call, and we'll do these every couple of weeks. Stay in touch, and also be sure to check out my new website. It's been revamped as well. Thanks a lot, and have a great weekend.